Babe of the day. Babe of the day. Rachel McLish. I've heard some interviewers say her last name as McLish, and other people introduce her as McLish. I'm going with McLish. Years ago, I saw a movie called Aces, Iron Eagle 3, and in that movie, there was a woman doing impressive things. She could kill a bad guy in a variety of ways, and look cool doing it. This woman wasn't the lead character of the film, but she was a major player nonetheless. 4 years after that, I saw this woman in an even better movie called Ravenhawk. In that film, she was the lead, and she was even cooler than in the previous movie. Then, she just disappeared. Seriously, this was her last feature film. I thought it was just the beginning of an outstanding career in action movies, but this is all we would get. Years passed, and I thought often about this film. I had to think about it because I rented the copy I watched, and couldn't track down another on VHS or DVD. It took me a long time to get my own copy. If you think it's that easy, try to find one yourself. I wondered what had happened to this beautiful, talented woman. What did she do before the movies? What did she do after? Where did she go? I was extremely surprised and delighted at what I found out. In the movies, I knew Rachel had a lean, very fit physique. She had muscles, but she wasn't muscle-bound. It was just enough to be feminine and attractive, but still be able to beat the heck out of people. It turned out, Rachel got her claim to fame as a female bodybuilder, and she was in it a long time before her movie appearances. As a matter of fact, she became the first ever Miss Olympia in 1980. In the world of female bodybuilding, it is the most prestigious title you can get. Her career in competitive bodybuilding lasted only 4 years. She never placed lower than third. In 1984, she retired from the sport, but never from fitness. I think she got even better looking after she retired from bodybuilding. She still looked fit, but her muscles were leaner and not so bulky. Rachel became a commercial spokeswoman, model, and although she was no longer a competitive athlete, she became even better known than she was before. She started acting as early as 1984. Rachel was in a TV movie called Getting Physical, where she had a small part as Tawny Runyon. It took 5 years until she had her next acting part. Well, maybe she had her next acting part in 1989. If she did, it's an incredibly obscure movie, and the only evidence it exists is a page on the Internet Movie Database. I can't find any pictures of it, reviews, or video releases. It is supposed to be a sci-fi comedy movie, and in it, Rachel was supposed to have played the small role of a checkpoint guard. If this is a real movie, it's pretty bleak compared to what she would do 3 years later. It wasn't until 1992 that Rachel got her big break in acting with Aces, Iron Eagle 3. She got second billing under the star Louis Gossett Jr., and even appeared on the poster and boxes for the home video releases. I liked this movie, but it bombed in theaters at the time. It's surprising to me because anyone I knew who watched it liked it, and it seems to be relatively well received today for fans of the series. If nothing else, the presence of Rachel McLish should have made it a hit. She was definitely a standout. As the story goes, Rachel's character of Anna is the sister of Ramon, a fallen colleague of Gossett's character named Chappie. Anna's father was the mayor of a village in Peru. She was being held hostage by a ruthless drug lord to get her father to cooperate. Anna isn't held hostage for long. She escapes kills some bad guys, and flees on the cartel's cargo plane in order to get outside help and save her village. Anna meets up with Chappie and gets him and the other flying aces to kill the bad guys and liberate her village. Rachel's character of Anna was cool in this movie. She killed a lot of bad guys, and it was convincing due to her physique. In that regard, Rachel was definitely believable. It would be 3 more years until Rachel would make another movie, and another year after that until it was widely seen. Ravenhawk was a made-for-TV action movie aired on HBO in 1996. She was the definite lead in this movie, and it was awesome. First of all, this movie should have been shown in theaters. If it had, I think it would have made some decent money. The filming quality was there, and most of the cast is filled with recognizable actors who have appeared in tons of stuff. The movie was directed by Albert Pyun. A lot of people like to take potshots at Albert Pyun because he made low-budget B movies and not always of the best quality. Seriously though, as a technical director, I thought he did very well. He knew how to shoot a scene and make it look cool for maximum effect. His action sequences were paced well. Where Albert got into trouble is that he would try to make sci-fi movies that required big money on limited funds, and they wouldn't come out right. When he was just doing straight action movies like this one, or movies that had only slight fantasy elements, he did very well, and the movies came out good. I think Albert did a good job of showcasing Rachel McLish in this movie. He emphasized her action scenes, because that was her strong suit, and limited her talking scenes to where it was relevant. She actually had good delivery when she spoke in this film, but it wasn't often because of the nature of the film. Rachel's heroine was a solitary character much of the time. The story begins with a little Indian girl named Raya Shadowfeather and her parents at home. A group of white men break in, kill both her parents, and frame her for the murder. Raya is in a catatonic state and put in a psych ward for 12 years. After the first 6 years, Raya snaps out of it and starts doing exercises in her room to get herself in maximum shape. Revenge is obviously on her mind, if and when she would ever get out. Raya was about to be paroled, but her parole was blocked, and she was going to be transferred to an insane asylum for the rest of her life. By a strange twist of fate, the transport van crashed and caught on fire. Raya was able to escape, although everyone assumed she had died in the flames, at least for a while. After taking back her horse that was stolen when her parents were murdered, Raya begins her crusade of grisly revenge. She remembered the 4 men that directly killed her parents and targeted them first. As she unravels the plot behind her parents' murder, she discovers more people, higher up, were involved. She starts killing off her enemies rather quick. Then, 3 professional hitmen are brought in to take her out. Raya eliminates them too. While all this is going on, a young marshal by the name of Dale Wilkes starts investigating the case of Raya Shadowfeather and starts making some major revelations. He soon learns that she never did what she was said to have done, and that she was not the bad guy in all of this. Raya and Dell finally meet toward the end of the movie, and he does her a solid. How it all ends is very cool. Raya is vindicated and proven innocent, and she's allowed to go on and live her own life. Although the story ends on a satisfactory note, I would have liked a sequel. I think she needed to go after the boss of the boss and eliminate the entire criminal empire. It also would have been nice to see her and Dell get together. Mostly, I think this movie needs a lot more visibility. It should be more common to see than it is. As it stands, This was Rachel's last acting part for many, many years, and she was really getting good at the craft. Besides the physical stuff, which was amazing, I thought she had improved markedly in delivering dialogue. In my viewpoint, she was just getting started. It wasn't until many years later, in 2011, when she took on her next acting role. It was the small part of Tiger Lil in the comedy short film of Ordinary Average Guys. To date, this is her last acting appearance. I think Rachel McLish deserved more recognition as an actress, and she definitely should have done more. Thankfully, she never completely disappeared out of the public eye, and at least she's remembered for empowering women via the sport of bodybuilding. I'll talk about the fantastic saga of Rachel's bodybuilding career and her personal life in Rachel McLish Part 2. Come back for Part 2. Come back for Part 2.